Hello students. So today we are going to discuss about the factors affecting absorption spectrum in UV and visible spectroscopy. And after this lecture, you will be able to understand about the effect of various solvents and effect of conjugation upon the absorption phenomena in UV and visible spectroscopy. So we'll start with first effect of solvent. And solvent play generally a very important role in like deciding or the position of the absorption spectra. Any compound generally may absorb like radiation at a particular wavelength in one solvent, but in the other solvent the wavelength will definitely partially changes. Like for example, in if we take acetone in hexane has a wavelength lambda max of 279 nanometers, but when in case of water, acetone has a lambda max of 264.5 nanometer. The same compound acetone generally absorbs different wavelengths in different solvents. So generally, the most of commonly used solvent is the ethanol, particularly 95% ethanol, because it is generally a cheap solvent and has a good dissolving power. Most of the solute or analytes are easily dissolved in this ethanol. And important thing is that it does not absorb radiation above 210 nanometer. So particularly in the UV and visible region, this ethanol is generally transparent. So, but below 210 nanometer, like in far UV region or vacuum region, so this cannot be suitably used. So here in this table, we have mentioned some solvents and they are absorbing wavelengths like water absorbs at 205 nanometer. Ethanol wave lambda max is 210 nanometer. Then methanol 210, ether, diethyl ether 210, cyclohexane 210, and dichloromethane 220. So accordingly, as per the requirement, we can choose the solvent from this these like options as per our study. So the important thing which is to be considered here is the polarity. So now let's discuss about the polarity of the solvents. And it is well established that polarity plays an important role in the position and the intensity of the absorption maxima of any particular chromophore. Like in case of non-polar solvents, like if we take example of iodine, in non if iodine is dissolved in some non-polar solvent, it generally exerts the purple color and its absorption maxima generally occur at the same wavelength as in case of iodine vapors, that is 5180 angstrom. But in case of polar solvents, iodine generally makes a brown color solution instead of purple, and the reason is that it generally absorbs at a shorter wavelength. So in case of like a non-polar solvent, iodine absorbs at a higher wavelength, but in case of a polar solvents, it generally absorbs at a shorter wavelength. So in non-polar solvent, it make purple solution, but in polar solvent, it make a brownish solution. So depending or changing the polarity of the solvent can affect the like behavior or characteristic of the analytes or the samples or substances. So most of the analytes generally exhibit the fine structures when measured in the low dipole moment. So this is the important point which is to be like noted. Low dipole moment. So most of the samples generally exhibit the fine structure and the low dipole moment. So ideally, the solvent generally should be cheaper. It should dissolve the like maximum amount of like solute or like analyte, and it should have a like low or moderate polarity for better like results. Because in generally, like if solvent is having a high dipole moment or it is a highly polar solvent, so in that case the solute and solvent interactions generally increases. So when dipole forces are generally like involved or increased, so the solute and solvent interaction generally increases, and this may generally leads to some different absorption pattern. Now, when we study the effect of the solvents, the two important transitions which are to be noted are the n-pi star transitions and pi-pi star transitions. So n-pi star transitions and pi-pi star transition, these two are like considerably important when we study the effect of solvent. When the non-bonding electrons present on the analyte generally interact strongly with the polar solvents, and this mainly results to the shift towards the shorter wavelength. So when we observe this like n-pi star transition, in case of n-pi star transition, and in those compounds which are able to show or exhibit this n-pi star transition, generally those which are having a unsaturation as well as the non-bonding electrons. So they are non-bonding electrons when like with present in the polar solvent or highly polar solvent, they generally interact. So the non-bonding electron generally interact with the polar solvent, and this mainly leads to the like shift the position of the spectrum towards the shorter wavelength. And as we discussed earlier, that when position is shifted towards the shorter wavelength, then it is known as a hypsochromic shift. So therefore, in case of like polar solvents, hypsochromic shift is generally observed. But whereas when we talk about the pi-pi star transitions, so these pi-pi star transitions are mainly shifted towards the longer wavelength or higher wavelength, that is the bathochromic shift. So in case of like highly polar or polar solvents, n-pi star transitions are generally observed at a shorter wavelength, and pi-pi star transitions are generally observed at a longer or the higher wavelengths. So now the question may come that why n-pi star transition causes hypsochromic shift, whereas the pi-pi star transition causes the bathochromic shift in polar solvents. And this is very important like concept or thing to understand. As we discussed earlier, when we talk about the electronic transitions, there are different energy levels of bonding, non-bonding, and anti-bonding, like energy shells or energy levels. So the energy of the non-bonding orbital, which is between the bonding and the anti-bonding orbitals, is lowered by hydrogen bonding in case of polar solvents. So when the non-bonding electrons generally participate in the hydrogen bonding with the solvent or polar solvent molecules, the energy of the non-bonding electron generally decreases. Now, as the energy of non-bonding energy level is it decreases, that means the distance or the difference or the gap between the non-bonding electron and the anti-bonding orbital is increased. So it requires a higher energy to cause the n to pi star transition. So when, as we already discussed this also, that higher energy means it requires a shorter wavelength. So therefore it requires a shorter wavelength, or it leads to the hypsochromic shift. And in case of like pi-pi star transition, the energy of the anti-bonding pi orbital is decreased. So in case of like unsaturated system, the pi star, it means pi antibonding orbital energy is decreased. And due to this reason, the bonding pi and antibonding pi levels generally come like little bit closer to each other. And this leads to the decrease in the gap between the pi and the pi star energy level. And hence it requires a longer wavelength. So that mainly causes the bathochromic shift. So this is the actual reason why like n-pi star transition causes the hypsochromic shift and pi-pi star transitions causes the bathochromic shift. In n-pi star transitions, the non-bonding electron energy is decreased, so high energy is required and therefore shorter wavelength is required. And in case of pi-pi star transition, anti-bonding pi orbital come like closer to the pi and gap is decreased, so lesser energy is required. That means longer wavelength is required to cause the transition or the excitation. So like this is also like justified with this like following example of iodine. Iodine in case of polar and the non-polar solvent. So in green color, we can see this is the spectra of absorption spectra of iodine in polar solvent like ethanol, and in red it is the in chloroform. So generally in case of like non-polar solvent chloroform, iodine is giving you the sharp and the peak which is at the higher wavelength. But when we increase the polarity, when we change the polarity and we make solution of iodine in polar solvent like ethanol, the wavelength is decreased from towards the left side, from right to left. So this is the example of hypsochromic shift. So in case of ethanol, iodine spectra generally shifts toward the shorter wavelength and hypsochromic shift is observed. Now let's discuss about the effect of conjugation. Conjugation is the like presence of alternate double bonds in any compound or system. So as we discussed earlier that when conjugation is present, so the orbitals of the like unsaturated pi orbitals, they generally overlap, and this mainly leads to the like deep partial delocalization of the pi electron system, and this leads to the like spread of the electron cloud over the larger area over the whole molecule. So in that particular case, when the orbitals overlap with each other, the electronic energy levels of chromophore generally come closer to each other. And when the orbitals energy levels come closer to each other, so the energy required to cause the transition will decrease. So energy required to cause the transition mainly decreases. And if energy is decreasing, that means we need a longer wavelength light radiation to cause that particular excitation. So the wavelength of the light absorbed becomes longer and the bathochromic shift is observed. So whenever there is a conjugation, it always leads to the bathochromic shift. So introduction of conjugation in any system leads to the bathochromic shift. That means the wavelength maxima generally or position shifts towards the longer wavelength. So this can be seen in this example, like as we discussed in this particular graph or spectrum, that this mainly represents the spectrum of like a polymer, that is CS3, CH, double bond CH, N, or CS3. So these three spectra, A, B, and C, represents the spectra of this particular compound with the variation in the conjugation levels. So A spectra has a generally observed when this N value is 3. So that means it has a 3 conjugated system, 3 conjugated double bonds. So when conjugation is increased from 3 to 4, so the wavelength is increased, and we observe the spectra of B at the little bit higher wavelength level. And when even more conjugation is increased, when N value is 5, so we get the C graph, which is at the maximum wavelength level. So as we can see that when we increase the conjugation level from A, B to C, the spectra position is generally shifted towards the right side. So that mainly leads to the increase in the wavelength value and also known as a bathochromic shift. So finally, to summarize, we can say that when we are discussing about the effect of solvents, the n-pi star transitions mainly leads to the hypsochromic shift in polar solvents, and pi-pi star transitions mainly leads to the bathochromic shift in polar solvents, and conjugation whenever is introduced in any system leads to the bathochromic shift and increase of the wavelength value. Thank you.